Hi everyone, my name's Pieta Valentine. I'm a former physiotherapist. I've written 2 books, The Resident's Voice from a Dementia Unit and The Resident's Rise from a Dementia Unit. So the video today is on the 3 layers of monumental mental stress that dementia residents have to cope with. The first layer or level is that of depression, anxiety and anger, and the whole range of that from moderate, low to high, often flicking between each emotional state. The second layer that they have to cope with is the dementia stress itself, when they either blank out entirely or the mind just races completely out of control. And then the third level of mental emotional stress they have to cope with is the loss of memory itself. So often all present memories gone, maybe a fractions left, and then of course the past memory, which they may have a little of. Just imagine having to cope with all of that. And then on top of that, of course, there's the stigma and the prejudice, more so though when they're outside the unit than when they're in the unit. So starting with the first step or level of depression, anxiety and anger. I've done a lot of work, a lot of videos on these 3 states, so please go back to those videos if you haven't gone through those, because without addressing depression, anxiety and anger, the quality of inner life really can't be improved too much at all, can it? I mean, if we're depressed and down, anything we do to improve our inner quality of life won't happen unless we can lift the depression. Same with anxiety, same with anger. I mean, and there's various ways of going about that to improve it, but in brief, with the depression, you really need to be able to, talk it through and move through it, exercise and, have activities. And with anxiety, one needs to be able to relax, talk it through and move through it. And with anger, one needs to also be able to communicate, move through it with exercise, which is very important, and have the medical team on board. So these videos, please go back to those and review those if your relative or friend is, experiencing either dementia, either anxiety, depression or anger. Okay, now I'd just like to mention here that from these videos on, I'm planning to address the inner emotional state of the dementia resident to improve their inner quality of life. I've done 100 videos plus on improving the outer quality of life, with the room set up and the warmth, getting the warmth happening and the comfortable bedding and the good wardrobe and the activities and on, so that the person can be well set up. And of course, assuming that they've got good cares from the facility that they're living in, or if they're at home and you're valiantly looking after them. Congratulations to those people and families out there that are doing that. It's just so admirable. So assuming that the cares are good, the person is being looked after, cared for, showered, dressed, they're being hydrated, they have good diet, they're getting sleep. All that tremendous amount of work needs to be done to be in place in order then for them to be settled enough to work on their inner mental state and have some inner quality of life. Because for quality of life, we need to have both states, established, don't we? An outer quality of life needs to be there for us and an inner quality of life. And then from there, we can positively progress with life. And that's what these positive practical techniques in this whole series is about. Okay, so let's address you can go to the videos for depression, anxiety and anger. Let's address the second level, which is all about the actual dementia stress itself, when the person either completely blanks out, just complete blank, or completely spins out. Okay, now this is a really serious state, as is depression, anxiety and anger. But to completely blank out, just imagine to not know where you are, what's happening, you know, to be so disorientated, to have no focus or orientation on what's happening at all, is a very highly, highly distressing state. And the same with spinning out. They're both as bad as each other. So what to do when your grandmother, for example, goes through this, how to recognize it, that's the first thing. Well, how you can recognize it, I'll actually explain this through a story as well, but how you can recognize it is through the features again. When the person starts to go into this dementia spin or dementia blank, the expression on the face is completely shut down. No expression, glazed eyes, tense neck, and just like the fight, it's a very unpleasant, it's like the fight-flight syndrome, you know, adrenalized, totally adrenalized. So it's like, it looks like the person's had a shock almost, but they're frozen in it. Really terrible. So what you do, okay, actually I'll explain, yeah. So my next door neighbor, one of my neighbors in my community showed me 2 photos of her grandmother. One was when she was in a dementia facility. One of the expression was warm and lovely, and you know, she looked like a kind, lovely, happy lady, yeah? Then the next photo was her with her eyes dilated, frozen expression, looking as if she'd had a shock, and that would have been that she was going through dementia stress. So, and you know, the girl that my neighbour recognised that. That's why she showed me the photos. So that was good. So when your grandmother's going through this, the best thing is to be reassuring and say, look, Granny, I know what I know you're going through dementia stress at the moment. I can tell, you know, that you're stressed and that you're going through this this state. I'm here to support. I'm here to help. It's going to be okay. Everything will be all right. It will pass. Now, what I'm going to do is we're in the bedroom, so it's only going to be 2 steps or 3 steps to the bed. So just trust me here. I'm holding on to you, arm around the waist and one through the elbow. Support her entirely. Now we're just going to take 2 steps to the bed. Now I'm helping you. Now lie down on the bed. Here's the pillow. I'm putting the rug over you. Now I just want you to lie down. Open or close your eyes as you wish and relax. And I'm going to stay with you through this. It might be half an hour, or they might not know. They might not be orientated to time. They probably won't be. They won't even be orientated to you. They won't be orientated to anything. But just keep talking, that reassuring tone. Yes, we're just going to lie down here. Granny, just deep breathing, relax. You know, everything's going to be all right. You're safe. You're here. I'm here. You're on your bed. You don't need to move anywhere. Just breathe and it will pass. Soon it will pass. It will pass. This has happened before. It's happening again. And like a cloud in the sky that moves on, this will move on as well. Then just sit with her like that. And it will move. It usually takes, say, I've seen people come out of it actually in 10 minutes or so. Actually, there was this one lady who was very bright, a really big reader, astute, observant, alert. And when she used to go through these episodes, you could just see her frozen on the spot. Where am I? What am I? What's happening? And then, you know, she wouldn't know her friends right or left of her. But once you said to her, everything's all right, you know, Tarina, you know, you're here, you're at the unit, you're just going through a bit of a spin. And she'd, oh, yes, all right. And she'd come out of it quickly, often in 5-10 minutes. So she was one example. Most people I've, you know, seen go through these states, it's about half an hour or maybe an hour for them to wind down, depending on their emotional, mental, intellectual state prior as to how quickly they come round. And then, of course, you know, they don't have to cope with the stigma and prejudice in this environment. So, and there, you know, if it's a supportive environment around them, they can come out of these states more quickly. So that's it for today. Thank you for your likes and your support, and we'll continue with this subject further. Thank you.